Hello, week 30 of Dark Shadows.
150 episodes in.
Yes.
Still going
Minus
strong.
the 3 that it was
Right.
preempted for. So 147 episodes. 150 we're up to.
Right. So did Sam die?
Sam did
Blaze?
not die,
No.
but he did burn himself pretty badly.
He did.
Now he's got to wear oven mitts. Well, not oven mitts. Bandages on his hands.
So it seems that Laura was staring into the fire and kind of keeping him asleep until Liz came in and interrupted her trance.
Mm-hmm.
And then he woke up and tried to put the fire out, burnt his hands, and then Maggie came in and helped him, and that was that.
Probably scary.
Yeah, probably.
So Liz saved Sam's life, sort of, by
so.
accident. Not by accident, but... And what else do we have?
More of the painting. The painting was... Oh, maybe they don't see that it was burned yet, but...
Right. So Sam was convinced that it was Laura's fault that the fire had started, and Maggie didn't want to believe him, or didn't believe him. No, she didn't want to believe him. She didn't believe him, and he's like, "Well, how could? What you think she came in and lit the match to the newspapers and." But he's like, no, I just feel it was her fault, and she threatened me, and she's like, what are you talking about? You're crazy.
And then she went to tell Laura and let her know that he kind of was accusing her of that, and so then Roger decides to go and see Sam, and then they reveal that the painting was burnt, and they try and kind of say like, oh, maybe Maggie's like, oh, maybe a spark went over, but like there was a cover on it and all this stuff, so it's just
the fire was in front of the couch, nowhere near the easel, yet the painting had like a hole burned right in the middle of it, and it was covered up with a sheet, and the sheet wasn't burned. So how did that happen? It's a mystery.
So then David is like loves this picture, and Roger comes in and tries to take it, and he tells him like, you can't take it, and then Roger for some reason can't, like he goes to take it off the wall after David leaves, and then he just like walks away from it. Like he can't do it.
Was something stopping him again, or did he change his mind?
I think something was stopping him.
So presumably more Josette.
Yes, yeah.
Because we did see her this week. We did see her ghost.
We
did appear in the bedroom at one point. So my prediction was correct, I assume.
Yes. David gets freaked out about Laura, and he runs from her, and then she asks Vicky to set up another like chance meeting with him or whatever.
Yes.
And Vicky says no, because David's delicate and she doesn't want to do that right now. And Vicky goes and sees Burke, and he's like, trust Laura, I trust her, and all this like stuff now, and so she just thinks he's blinded by love, and he doesn't really know who she is anymore, and so she's very...
Now, is that Burke being controlled, or is that Burke being just loving Laura, or is it Burke maybe he's just like part of his plan to get what he wants out of Laura? He needs her to be, liked and getting what she wants. And
maybe. I mean, they do meet later on the pier.
Burke and Laura.
And she agrees to testify if he will talk to David for her and try and get David to bond with her and connect with her. So they make that little deal.
Will she go through with it?
I think she would.
Yeah.
And then we see Riley and Frank chatting. The new Riley.
We got a new Riley. We only had 2 episodes. We had Lieutenant Riley, and he's already been replaced with a different... They both... I like the first one's voice.
Yeah.
More than the second one, but the second one has more of that grizzled detective look.
I have no opinion on him.
No? Okay.
I barely noticed he was different, really.
Really? He's got a way bigger face and head than the new one. I don't know.
So he tells Frank that it was likely a murder because like everything was locked up and all this. Oh, and there was other...
Oh, in Phoenix, yeah.
There was other evidence, and then that a lady at the apartment had seen Laura that day. The day of the fire.
Which is also apparently the day she appeared in Collinsport Inn.
Yes.
So
how is that possible?
Well, we'll see.
I guess so.
So she...
Vicky tells Vicky tells Frank about how Burke has changed, and then Carolyn goes and sees Burke.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in this fight, and he says, "Oh, maybe we shouldn't see each other anymore." And then she gets all upset and pouty and says it's all
like,
about Aunt Laura.
Oh, yeah, she thinks it's all Laura's fault.
And she's just like, she storms out.
She's like, yeah, her retaliation for him not wanting to see her is to leave. He wants her to leave, so what does she do? She leaves.
Yeah,
that'll show him.
That will show him. Then she tells Vicky later that she feels like he is being either like controlled or told what to say. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who? What?
That Burke.
Carolyn.
Carolyn told
Vicky that, and Vicky kind of thought that too.
Yes.
When she was talking to
Frank. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vicky vows to keep David away from Laura, whether it's right or wrong. She says she's going to keep him away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What was after that?
Carolyn. I don't know. Let's see.
We have.
Sam says he may never paint again, but he knows somehow that the painting will be finished this day and it will be destroyed this day. So he ends up going to the house to look at the painting. Vicky goes up to grab it off the wall, and David is now in that empty spot.
Right.
And apparently, like, the paint is dried already. They said it wasn't on there this morning when they saw it, but the paint was dry. And
apparently it takes days for oil paint to dry. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way that could have been done today, but it wasn't done before, so it just magically appeared. But we saw Josette's ghost appear right before and kind of go towards the painting, so presumably Josette added that.
Mm-hmm.
But if she could add that, then why was she controlling Sam before? Assuming it was her controlling Sam to get to paint it in the first place, why not just make it appear?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe she did. Maybe he didn't actually paint it. Maybe she did make it appear, and he just was too drunk or in a trance to remember. So we don't really know how that came to be.
Right. But Vicky says that when she was getting the painting, she smelled perfume, the same perfume that she smelled in the old house when Josette came to her.
Jasmine.
Yes.
Jasmine perfume.
So,
which she never mentioned that before, but the writers just kind of slipped that in there that she has this perfume, and so they could connect what had happened with the painting to Josette. Yeah.
And then Rogers just had enough of it, throws it in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the fire it goes.
In the fire it goes, and we hear a little something. You hear like a woman screaming.
Yes.
Whose voice was that? Was it Laura's voice? Josette's voice? Someone else's voice?
I guess
Roger? Was it Roger screaming?
It's fine art, Sam. Not the fine art.
Yes.
But then Roger tries to kind of excuse it and say, "Oh, it was probably just the wind in the chimney," and kind of passes by it. Then David comes home and they tell him, and he's super upset about it and says that it was going to reveal, it was going to like finally tonight tell him everything that it had been trying to tell him or something. Mm-hmm. So he's really upset about that and runs off. Vicky goes to console him, and Liz goes to tell Laura that she's not to see him anymore and it's not good for him. So they get an argument about that, and I don't think Laura's going to take that lying down.
No, but we'll find out. Elizabeth did say to Roger afterwards that it'll kind of come down to who's the strongest. Yeah. So we'll see who's stronger, Liz or Laura. Who do you think's stronger?
Liz. No, Laura's crazy cyborg lady, so maybe Laura. I would say Liz first, but we don't know who this person is.
Right.
And then David goes to sleep because Vicky tells him the Phoenix story.
Yes, he asks her to.
And then Laura comes to him, but it seems that maybe she's a ghost or something and says, "I won't leave you here. I have to go, but I'm going to take you with me." Gives him a handkerchief to wipe his tears. Then she disappears, but the handkerchief is still there, and David drops it on the floor as he falls back asleep. So we'll see if that gets connected to anything quickly, or if it gets shoved under the bed and no one sees it for weeks, and then we finally connect it to something. But...
Right, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll come into play somehow. I mean, they kind of made a big deal out of it visually, so I'm assuming the handkerchief's going to come into play somehow.
For sure. Predictions for next week?
I'm wondering if, like, okay, so we see Laura appear to David in his room, and it's okay. Well, the options are he was dreaming, or she snuck in, or maybe she can teleport, or she can project herself somehow. So we don't really know what's going on there with that. But if she can teleport, that would explain how she got from Phoenix to Collinsport in the same day. So maybe she just has a way to transport herself.
But I would think it would just be
somewhere
like a
else.
transport of like vision, like just you could see her, but now she's actually there.
So
So
you think it's a projection of some?
maybe, but
sort.
it couldn't. A projection couldn't have started a fire.
Well, projection
didn't
couldn't
start
hand
the fire.
hand David a handkerchief either.
True. So yeah, that's a very interesting theory.
What were you?
I don't know that I have any theories because I'm just kind of confused about what's going on with everything and how it's all gonna
Yeah, what is going
wrap
on?
up. Because Laura is such a mystery. I just don't understand who she is, how she is, what she is, where she is.
What
So-
happened in Phoenix, and who died, and
Yeah.
how was she connected to that, and how did the locket change and then go back and then come back? And
I'm guessing, this is my prediction, that most of those questions will not be answered.
you think so?
Yeah.
That's your prediction?
That's my prediction.
Okay, excellent
All right.
predictions.
See you
Okay.
next week. Woo!
Oops.
See you next
Bye.
week.